King Charles's silence may have been the loudest royal message of the year. No angry statement, no desperate negotiation, no emotional appeal, just silence. And according to reports, that silence came after Prince Harry delivered a message that sent shockwaves through royal circles. Without taxpayer-funded security, Archie and Lilibet would not be coming to Britain. Suddenly, what looked like a simple security dispute exploded into something far more emotional, far more personal, and far more dangerous for a family already hanging by a thread.
When are you going to learn, man, that it is completely inappropriate and unacceptable, and the king simply will not have it, and the royal family simply will not have it, with you calling up trashy reporters at trashy mainstream media publications to try and force them into doing something they don't want to do?
Prince Harry is said to have told his father, King Charles, who is battling cancer, that he simply...
The reported conversation immediately triggered a storm of questions. Was Harry simply acting as a protective father, or was something much bigger unfolding behind closed palace doors? Because when you strip away the headlines and legal language, what remains is a heartbreaking reality. A king battling cancer, a son living thousands of miles away, 2 grandchildren growing up without regular contact with their grandfather. And right in the middle of it all sits one issue that refuses to die: security. The fascinating part is not what Harry reportedly said. It is what Charles did not say. In royal life, silence is rarely accidental. Silence is strategy. Silence is calculation. Silence is often a decision more powerful than any public statement. The palace knows exactly how every word will be interpreted. They know every sentence can become a global headline within minutes. Yet this time, nothing came. Not even a carefully crafted message through aides. Nothing. That absence immediately became the story. Because many royal observers believed Charles had multiple options available to him. He could have quietly authorized discussions. He could have signaled flexibility. He could have offered some form of compromise. Instead, the door appeared to remain exactly where it was. Closed, or perhaps not completely closed, just left hanging in an uncomfortable state of uncertainty. And that uncertainty is where this entire drama becomes explosive.
Now 100% trapped. I mean, he talked about it on that TV show, that he's the one that can't get away, because now she rules the roost. She's cut him off from the family. She's got no family. She's got the friend. She's got Marcus Anderson. He's a fun person, and he will fill her in with the gossip and all of that sort of stuff. But, you know, Harry to her, a means to an end.
At the center of everything are 2 facts that make this story impossible to ignore. King Charles is continuing treatment for cancer. Archie and Lilibet are growing older with every passing year. Those 2 realities create a ticking clock nobody can stop. Time is moving whether the family dispute is resolved or not. According to reports, Harry's position was straightforward. Without adequate security arrangements, the children would not travel to Britain. On the surface, that sounds perfectly reasonable. Most parents would prioritize safety above everything else. In fact, many people would applaud such a decision. A father protecting his children is hardly controversial. But royal disputes are never just about what appears on the surface. Beneath every statement lies another layer, and beneath that layer sits another, and another. The security argument did not begin yesterday. It has stretched across years of court battles, legal challenges, public interviews, media reports, and endless debates. Every chapter has added more tension to an already strained relationship between Harry and the institution he once represented. From the palace perspective, the position has remained remarkably consistent. Harry stepped away from official royal duties. Therefore, his security arrangements changed. The palace has repeatedly framed this as an institutional matter rather than a personal one. Rules are rules. Protocols are protocols. Procedures are procedures. Yet Harry's supporters see something entirely different. They see a father worried about threats. They see a husband concerned about protecting his family. And they see a man who believes the institution abandoned responsibilities that should never have changed. That clash of perspectives has fueled years of conflict.
Why is Harry making like all these games around his children, trying to be this, man that gets what he wants all the time, and using your children to do it? It's so wrong and disgusting. I don't even know.
What makes this particular moment so explosive is the way family relationships became entangled with security negotiations. Suddenly, the question was no longer simply about protection officers or travel arrangements. It became about grandchildren, about access, about connection. And once grandchildren enter the conversation, everything changes, because nobody wants to imagine a grandfather missing precious years with his grandchildren. Nobody wants to imagine family memories opportunities never being created. Nobody wants to imagine opportunities disappearing forever. Yet that is exactly the emotional landscape many observers believe has emerged. The palace reportedly views family relationships and institutional policies as separate matters. They argue that mixing the two creates impossible complications. But critics counter that separating them is easier said than done when real people and real emotions are involved. But after all, what happens when policy directly affects family access? Can those things truly be separated, or are they already intertwined whether anyone likes it or not? Those questions continue haunting the discussion.
He is just a broken man, Dan. He is broken in a big way. And I feel sorry for those children. I really do, because they're the ones who are going to be the ones losing out.
As the debate intensified, some commentators reached an even harsher interpretation. They argued that the message could be viewed as an ultimatum: solve the security issue or the grandchildren remain absent. Now, whether that interpretation is fair remains fiercely disputed. Supporters of Harry reject it completely. Critics embrace it immediately. But regardless of where anyone stands, one fact remains impossible to ignore. Charles did not publicly engage. He did not challenge the framing. He did not clarify his position. He simply stayed silent. And that silence may reveal more than any statement ever could. Royal veterans who have spent decades studying palace behavior noticed something unusual. They believe Charles deliberately chose the harder option. Speaking would have allowed him to shape the narrative. Silence surrendered control of the narrative. Why would a king willingly do that? Perhaps because engaging carried greater risks. Perhaps because acknowledging the link between security and family access would create a precedent he was unwilling to establish. Or perhaps because he understands that some conversations simply cannot be won in public. Whatever the reason, the silence stretched. Days became weeks. Questions multiplied. Speculation exploded. And meanwhile, the larger issue remained unresolved. A king undergoing cancer treatment, a son living overseas, grandchildren growing up far away, and a family trapped in a standoff that seems to become more complicated every time someone tries to explain it. Then another fascinating element entered the story. Balmoral, the famous Scottish retreat, suddenly became a symbol of what was being lost. Supporters of reconciliation imagined family gatherings, private conversations, healing moments away from cameras. Critics argued that practical solutions already existed if everyone genuinely wanted them. The more people discussed Balmoral, the more obvious another uncomfortable question became. If Harry can travel internationally to challenging locations around the world, why does Britain remain such an obstacle? Was this truly about logistics, or had the issue evolved into something much bigger than travel arrangements? That question opened an entirely new chapter of speculation, one involving power, principle, legacy, and the future shape of royal relationships. What makes the Balmoral angle so fascinating is that it exposes the contradiction sitting at the center of this entire saga. For years, Prince Harry has demonstrated that international travel is possible when he believes it is necessary. He has visited countries facing significant security concerns. He has attended major public events. His team has coordinated complex travel schedules across continents. That reality has led many royal observers to ask a difficult question. Is Britain really the problem, or has Britain become the symbol of a much larger battle? Because once you start pulling on that thread, an entirely different picture begins to emerge. This is where emotions begin colliding with politics. The security dispute no longer looks like a simple disagreement over protection officers. It begins to resemble a struggle over belonging, a struggle over status, a struggle over what Harry's long-term place within the royal family will ultimately be. Some insiders believe the argument has never been about one specific trip. Instead, they suspect it is about creating a permanent framework that would guarantee recognition and protection far into the future, not just during Charles's reign, but potentially during William's future reign as well. And that possibility explains why this issue remains so explosive, because once an institutional precedent is established, reversing it becomes incredibly difficult. Charles therefore finds himself trapped between two impossible choices. If he gives ground, critics will accuse him of bending royal protocols under family pressure. If he refuses, he risks deepening an already painful family divide. Neither option offers an easy escape. Neither option produces a happy ending. Meanwhile, time continues moving forward. That reality hangs over every part of this story. Charles's health remains a matter of public concern. The grandchildren continue growing older. Family moments that could have happened simply disappear forever once enough time passes. Birthdays are missed. Summers come and go. Opportunities fade quietly into memory before anyone fully realizes they are gone. What makes the situation even more emotionally complicated is Harry's own history. Throughout his life, he has spoken openly about the devastating impact of losing his mother at such a young age. He has described the grief, the unanswered questions, and the lifelong scars left behind by that loss. Those reflections have resonated with millions of people around the world because they feel deeply human and deeply real. Yet many observers now point to a painful contradiction. Harry understands better than almost anyone the consequences of losing a parent too soon. At the same time, he finds himself locked in an ongoing conflict with a father who is facing serious health challenges. It is not the same situation. The circumstances are entirely different, but the emotional parallels are difficult to ignore. That uncomfortable tension has become one of the most talked about aspects of the entire dispute. Then, there is another striking pattern that continues attracting attention. Both King Charles and Thomas Markle remain largely absent from Archie and Lilibet's lives. The circumstances behind each estrangement are very different. The reasons are different. The histories are different. Yet the outcome appears remarkably similar. Two grandfathers separated from their grandchildren. Two family relationships left unresolved. Two situations shaped entirely by adult decisions rather than the wishes of the children themselves. That observation has caused many commentators to step back and look at the bigger picture. Beyond the legal battles, beyond the security arguments, beyond the media headlines, what remains are family relationships struggling under extraordinary pressure. Relationships that become harder to repair with every passing year. Perhaps that is why Charles's silence continues fascinating so many people. Some interpret it as stubbornness, others see wisdom, some view it as weakness, others believe it represents extraordinary restraint. Whatever the truth may be, the silence has become a character in this story all by itself, and now the situation remains frozen. No confirmed breakthrough, no announced reunion, no public resolution. Archie and Lilibet remain in California. Charles continues his treatment in Britain. Balmoral still waits quietly in the Scottish Highlands, a place that once symbolized family gatherings and royal tradition. The saddest part may be that nobody truly knows how much time remains for reconciliation. The opportunity still exists. The door has not been completely closed, but neither has it been fully opened. And so the story continues suspended between hope and frustration, between silence and longing, between what could still happen and what may never happen at all. That is why this royal drama refuses to fade away, because beneath the headlines about security, protocol, and palace politics lies something much more powerful. A father, a son, two grandchildren, and a family still searching for a path back to one another while the clock quietly keeps ticking in the background.